Stewart here and welcome back to our YouTube creator series. Today on the channel we are talking about, lighting. Yes, of course, how could I forget my favourite subject? I absolutely love lighting things, shaping an image with light, and that's what you are doing when you create a YouTube studio setup. The light is, I think, the most important thing in your entire setup. It just transforms your image. And we're going to learn something today. We're going to talk about hard versus soft light. We're going to talk about the position of the light, the distance from the subject, the angle to the subject. We're going to talk about the different types of light, from cheap lights all the way up to medium to more expensive lights, like this beautiful great big softbox that is lighting me now. We have so much to talk about. If you just want to jump to the answer and find out a bit more about these lights, go on our kit page, link in the description below, and you can flick through the various types of lights. We've put lots of notes in there, some information, some thoughts. It's a fairly useful resource as well to find out a bit more about the gear. Right, let's do this. So we're all on the same page. Let's establish a common objective. We want a soft, cinematic and flattering light on our subject, in this case, me. What you need to understand is that on a film set or a TV set, they don't just show up one day, switch the lights on and start filming. Everything is staged, often in a very unnatural way, to give flattering, pleasing and cinematic results on whatever is being filmed. Much like right now, we have a light off camera so that you cannot see it blasting in my face. Let me switch that light on up there and you can see the difference. Wow, that is ugly. If you look at the shot of Alina, you can compare side by side the difference. Of course, the shot on the right is flattering, it looks beautiful, it looks soft. Even before we get into the technical definition of soft light, you can see there's a soft quality to it. By contrast, on the left-hand side, it's incredibly harsh. Her eyes are just like dark shadows on her face. Every part of her face is casting shadows over the rest of her face, and it just really is not good at all. So the first thing you need to do when you're setting up a YouTube studio is think about how you're going to light yourself from the front. We can talk in a lot of detail as to whether it's square on or off at a slight angle or up a bit, but at the end of the day, in one way, shape or form, the light is in front of you, it is not above your head. Let me give you a little demonstration that will really clear things up for you. Think of this piece of acoustic foam as your face, and we have a camera right in front of your face, just filming your face. But this acoustic foam is lumpy, just like your face. All of our faces are lumpy, be it because of the natural features like our nose, our lips and our eyes, or because of imperfections, spots, wrinkles. We don't want those imperfections to be seen, so we need a flattering light. And in terms of direction of that light, let me show you what happens when you light it from the side. All of these wrinkles on the face are casting huge shadows. But look at this, as I start to move the light into a front-on setup, as I was explaining to you earlier, those shadows just disappear to the point at which they're almost filled completely by the light. All those crevices are filled, so the peaks and the troughs are barely visible because we have that flat, straight-on portrait lighting. And it's some kind of variation on this that we want to achieve with our YouTube studio lighting. Now, by all means, we can go dramatic by taking things down to the side. Look at that coming in from a 45-degree angle. If we go all the way to the side, super dramatic. But by and large, depending on the nature of your face and your confidence on camera, you want some kind of variation of this front-on lighting, as I think is clearly demonstrated by this piece of acoustic foam / your face. Take a look at this shot of Alina illuminated with the Falconized circular LED panel. Again, if you want to find out more information about any of these products, check out our kit page, link in the description below. In this setup, she's illuminated exactly the same way I am now, only with this Falconized circular panel instead of this great big softbox. But out in front, off to about a 30-degree angle off center, just coming in, nice flattering light, filling all those shadows, just like I was demonstrating with the acoustic foam there. By contrast, if we take the light all the way around to the side, you can see those shadows across the face cast by the nose, other features on her face. Now, it looks very dramatic. I think it looks very nice actually, but it's not necessarily what you want depending on your face, your age, your skin condition, etc, etc. So you need to make a judgment on that. If in doubt, I'd say play it safe and just have it pretty much straight on. Now you have an opinion of your own on where to position the light, depending on the kind of impact you want to achieve with your YouTube studio. Let's talk about hard versus soft light. Why do people keep talking about soft light? What does that even mean? Soft light throws soft, diffused shadows. Hard light throws sharp, hard shadows, the kind that you'd expect to see on the ground if the sun was behind you and you saw an outline of yourself on the pavement. That is a hard light. Now, how do we create soft light? There are two driving forces here: the size of the light source and the proximity to the subject. If you want soft, diffused shadows, then you need a large light source close to your subject, and that's precisely why this enormous softbox is creating soft light on me right now. It's a diffused, spread out light source that is quite close to me. Just a reminder, why would we want diffused soft shadows? Because shadows on the face, generally speaking, are not a good thing, particularly if we have imperfections that we are trying to hide, as we saw with the acoustic foam example. The notion of modifying a light with some kind of diffusion can be quite an intimidating subject. There are many variations, many different types of products: softboxes, octoboxes, beauty dishes, shoot-through umbrellas, reflective umbrellas, blah-de-blah-de-blah. The reality of the situation is anything that creates a bigger light source will help you create a soft light. I wouldn't get too caught up in the details about it. So if we start with what I would consider the ultimate professional setup that we have in here, a 100-watt LED light going through this big unbranded octobox here. Look at this example here. So this is our reference. This is Alina again with this exact lighting setup. As you can see, beautiful soft light. See what I mean about the shadows? Where are the shadows? You need to struggle to look for them to even identify where the light is coming from. Now let's take the softbox off and illuminate her with the bare LED, a tiny little LED chip that's just blasting out enormous amounts of hard light. It's a tiny light source coming at her. Look at those shadows. Look at that one under her chin just cutting across her neck. Hard light. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad light. It might be the look that you're going for, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as your go-to YouTube setup. I absolutely love this setup and the way it looks. It's a 100-watt LED light blasting enormous amounts of light through this great big octobox and creating this nice image, but it's not extremely practical. Look at the amount of space it takes up. It's absolutely huge. You need a big heavy-duty light stand as well to carry the weight. You can't have it toppling over. So this, in all likelihood, if you have a home studio, might not be an option. It just takes up a bit too much space. It's also quite expensive. So if we back up a little bit and look at another option, we've been using this Falconized LED flat panel light for a while now. We had it on a commercial job, absolutely loved it. It's flat. Let me show you this. Look how thin it is. Look how cool that is. Now, the implications of that for your YouTube studio are quite significant. It means you can get that light right flat up against the wall and illuminate yourself with a fairly large light source. Now let's remind ourselves again, for a soft light, we need a larger light source close to the subject. We're going to struggle to compete with that enormous octobox there, but what if we got this round in front of us and illuminated ourselves? Look at this first shot with Alina. This light in exactly the same position the softbox is now. It's a pretty nice result, but you can see from the shadow on the wall that much as it has been softened and diffused, and it's a big improvement on a bare bulb, I think we can do better. So if we move the light in a bit closer, then we get a nicer result. Remember, the closer the light is, the bigger it is relative to the subject. That softens the light. If we go one step further and recreate a home YouTube studio type approach, imagine you're filming on a GoPro or a webcam or something like that. Of course, you don't have space for that huge light. So look at the setup here with Alina. GoPro on the table, flat panel LED light. Imagine it's right up against the wall, just in front of your desk here on a light stand. It's really close to the subject and it's creating that soft light. Even with a GoPro, look at these shots. Look how soft the shadows are on her face. I'm a big fan of this light and I would definitely recommend it for your home studio setup. It comes in 3 different sizes. This is the medium sized one. And what I do like is that you can not only control the power here on the back, if I can just find the buttons, so you can turn up the power all the way up, that's up at about 60%, but you can also control the color temperature, which I think is a very nice function, all the way from about 5,600 Kelvin all the way down to 3,000 Kelvin. Very useful, very handy light. Do check out the link in the description below on the kit page if you want to find out a bit more. If you're trying to keep the budget down, or you'd prefer a more portable setup to the enormous softbox that's lighting me now, or even one of these flat panel Falconized lights, definitely recommend one of these two lights. We have two similar but slightly different options here. This right here, the Yongnuo 216, this has been our go-to light forever. We have 3 of these, and these have been through the wars. It's just one color, in this instance at least, kind of daylight white. Nice circular profile there, and is powered by this battery on top. Again, you can find the links in our kit page to these lights. Reliable, cheapest option that we have. Love it. This one here, the Bowling P1 Vlogger. Basically the same as this, but in this beautiful little package here. All solid metal construction here, really high quality, quite a bit more expensive than this, mind you, with a built-in rechargeable battery. So definitely check this one out. I should say we were sent this one as well. In this video, the 2 lights that we've been sent were this one and this one. The rest is our own setup that we've paid for over the years. But again, I wouldn't bring them to your attention unless I thought they were good and we tested them and used them. This light, what's particularly cool is that it has the full spectrum of RGB color function here, so you can play around with all color setups. As you can see, that's on tungsten. Now let me change this here, see what kind of color we can get. Oh, I just really blinded myself. It is bright, I will tell you that. In the studio here with Alina, we played with all kinds of setups with this light, because as time evolves, you might want to think about putting some backlight on. Now, we're not going to talk about that really here because this video will be far too long, but there's all kinds of creative opportunities, not only in terms of lighting color that you can play with, but lighting position, putting nice hair lights over the subject. As you can see in this instance, we put the light right behind Alina, completely illuminated her from the back, created these interesting shadows and a kind of halo effect. And you can do that with these small, powerful LED lights. But Stewart, I hear you say they are small, hard lights. They're not going to give flattering shadows across the face, are they? Well, you're absolutely correct on that, which is where this little accessory comes in. The shoot-through umbrella. Again, I don't know if you can see the muck on this, but this has been through the wars. We take a so-called shoot-through umbrella and shoot a light through it, just like that. And bish bash bosh, we have a beautiful soft light source in the cheapest possible way. Unlike a softbox, you can just fold this down, stick it in your backpack. That doesn't take up much space, nor does that, and you have portable soft lighting wherever you are going. I think we've covered enough for one day. I hope that gives you something to think about. Don't forget to check out that kit page, of course, if you want to find out more details about all of these products. Now, the one thing that we didn't mention is natural light window light. It is a fantastic option, particularly on an overcast day. You will get the beautiful, softest light of them all from a window. The problem with window light is that it's not consistent. Now, this video, for example, has taken me quite a while to film. In the course of that time, the sun could have gone down. My camera settings would need to be changed mid-filming. If the sun came in, all of a sudden started shining through the window, that would completely change everything as well. So it can be quite hard working with window light, which is why we're talking about studio lighting. Do keep in touch with us in the comments below. I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on how you set up and light your YouTube studio. We have some old videos on how we set up this kind of professional studio, if you like, on a fairly low budget, so you can check that out, and we will see you next time.